Hey there. So I've never done a go live Facebook, YouTube video before, but figured why not try it. I'm actually in Washington D.C. on this Father's Day, and I was going to record a video to put up on the website, but I figured I'd just do this, and people can actually watch it later. But happy Father's Day. I'm spending mine for work in D.C., and I'm not with my family, which is a bummer. But that's actually what made me want to post a video. Hopefully this is coming through too. I'm trying to use the voice recording microphone on my laptop, and I was having problems with it earlier, but it looks like it's coming through, so hopefully it is. Happy Father's Day, and you growing up, I had, and I want to share this and hopefully help some fathers out there, especially some new fathers. But growing up, I had seen on TV a lot of oh, I don't know what the word is for it, but I built up a lot of expectation. If I was ever to have kids, that when I did, it would be like off those sitcoms that you watch or movies where the dad is in the delivery room and he holds the baby for the first time, and all of a sudden it's like the clouds part and the sun shines down, and there's maybe even a voice that comes out, and this moment, and all of a sudden you are a dad and everything's different. You understand everything as a dad, and just everything's better, and you have new priorities, and you just can't describe this feeling. And so I grew up with that expectation that that was going to happen to me when I became a dad. So when I became a dad, I picked up my son. I have three kids, by the way: Finnegan, Mora, and Lachlan. And when Finnegan was born, I picked him up and I held him and I looked at him, and he was super cute, and I loved him, and I was happy. And then I was sitting there kind of just waiting for that like aha moment. And honestly, it never happened. And I just figured, all right, just too excited, too much stuff going on. That's why. So I waited. A couple of weeks went by, and there was still nothing, and I started to feel guilty. I actually started to feel like there was something wrong with me. Like, how come I'm not having this moment that all the movies and even other people talk about? They have that moment when they first hold their kid. A couple months go by, and I thought about it daily. It still hadn't happened yet, and I wasn't too sure what was wrong. And I remember this very vividly. I remember my wife was in the kitchen. We were getting ready to eat, and Finnegan was out in the front of the house in the living room in his swing. And my wife asked me if I can go get him, bring him in the kitchen to eat. So, of course. So I went out to the kitchen. I reached down the swing to pick him up. He was awake. Picked him up, and I put him like right here with his head facing me. And he's looking up at me, and he had his two little hands, and he grabbed my shirt like this. And he was holding on to it. And for a quick moment, I kind of switched places with him in my head. I was the one looking up at my dad holding on to his shirt. And all of a sudden I realized, oh crap, he's looking up at me like a dad, like a father. And what would be going through his head, obviously he was too little, but you'll get the point, was this is my dad. This is the guy that's going to teach me to ride a bike. This is the guy that's going to answer my questions. He's going to keep me safe. He's going to take care of everything. Whenever there's a problem, I'm going to yell, Dad. Yell, Dad. Like, that's me. I'm the dad that he's looking up to. That's when it hit me. Now, there was no parting of the sky and no angels' voices and sun shooting down through the roof of the house, but that was when I got it. It was stop me in the track type of thing. And I remember the next day I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, I just wanted to let you know I get it. And he answered me and said, I knew someday you would. And that was basically the end of the call. But for all you dads that are out there, maybe you've run into that. Maybe your moment was the moment you held him. Maybe that happened to you the first day you held your son or your daughter. And that's fantastic. But if it hasn't, Don't feel guilty. Don't feel there's something wrong with you. It just has to come at its own time. And not being with my kids today is a bummer, but it has to be done. I'm providing for my family, and this is where I'm working, and this is what you got to do. And I'm an adult. But there's plenty of dads out there in the same position I am. So I encourage you. Happy Father's Day. But there are other dads out there that they're not able to see their kids, not because they're working, but there's other circumstances. There's other things in your life that are preventing you from being able to be with your kids today. Um, Happy Father's Day to you too. But being a dad, being able to tell my dad I get it years and years and years later. I want you to be encouraged that just because you can't see your kids, maybe you're not involved in their lives. Hopefully not for reasons because of you, but for reasons outside of your control. I want to encourage you that your character, your actions, what you do are going to mean something to your kid even 20 years from now. They'll be able to see in some way or another what you did and how you acted in the face of whatever adversity it is that you're facing. So don't give up, don't stop. And hopefully one day they will call you and be able to say, hey, Dad, I get it. Happy Father's Day.